Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Reads His Marvel Comics in Order, episode 92. This time I read Fantastic Four 179. The condition of this copy from my collection is probably fine. Very fine minus, maybe. Not bad. Now this, I had to do a little research. I couldn't figure out who did this cover. Any guesses? Anybody? Bueller? No, this cover is by Al Milgrom and Joe Sinnott, of course. But I couldn't tell. I was like, is this Jack Kirby? But I didn't think it was. And then after I opened and started reading, I saw that the artist on this issue is the old artist, Ron Wilson. George Perez has been drawing Fantastic Four for the last several issues. And he's the regular artist, I think, on the title, but he's also just become the regular artist on the Avengers. So I guess he's probably pressed for time. So Ron Wilson, who was drawing the Fantastic Four like a year ago, back when back in probably, was it 1970? Was it the end of 1974, the beginning of 1975? That's when my earliest issues of Fantastic Four are from. And I think Ron Wilson was drawing them then. So if you go back to some earlier Old Nerd Reads His Marvel Comics in Order episodes and find some Fantastic Fours back there, Ron Wilson was the artist. This is, I think, the second time he's popped back in, though, to do an odd issue here and there. And him and Joe Sinnott work well together, I think. He's got a very Jack Kirby feel. This looks like a Jack Kirby splash page, basically. But so I originally thought that, this must be Ron Wilson, but I looked it up and it's actually Al Milgrom. He does a very good Jack Kirby impression, I think. But anyway, this issue picks up where the last issue left off. Reed Richards just got tossed into the negative zone by his evil doppelganger, the Reed Richards from Counter-Earth, who wants this Earth's Reed Richards dead. But what he does instead is he tosses him into the negative zone, then tells the rest of the team that he's the real Reed Richards. He tossed the fake into the negative zone. See, he was the Counter-Earth. Reed Richards turns into this creature called the Brute. Super strong monster. But they fought. Those two fought. Mr. Fantastic is losing his elastic powers. Can't stretch anymore, really. And he gets easily beaten by the Brute, knocked out, tossed into the negative zone. So here Reed Richards is waking up and he panics a little bit, but then he pulls himself together and realizes that he's got to put on his big boy pants, even though he's wearing his underwear, because Counter-Earth Reed Richards ripped off his I didn't show that. He rips off his uniform so that he can wear it. So he's got to pull up his big boy pants even though he's in his underwear. So back in the Baxter building, Fantastic Four is having a meeting called by Reed Richards the day before. So the new imposter Reed Richards doesn't even know what the meeting was about, but he's got to go along with it and act like he called the meeting, even though he doesn't know what it's about. But everybody's bickering, and he tells them all to shut up. And that's kind of the end of the meeting. And Sue, this is the phone of my wildest dreams. She's so much like, oh, okay, no. Sue doesn't start to realize it just yet, but Reed Richards, doppelganger Reed Richards, he misses Sue because on Counter-Earth, Sue Storm is in a coma. And I don't think they're really together either. But here, he's cherishing the moment of being able to hug Sue Richards, but he's got to destroy her still, because that's his ultimate agenda, is to destroy the Fantastic Four. But Sue is starting to suspect that maybe something's wrong. Doesn't seem right. But Titania is trying to date Ben, trying to date the Thing, He doesn't want to. He's in love with Alicia. He tells her he's got to go. He leaves, and he's immediately attacked by Tigra. And they end up going out for dinner. And I like this. This kid's wearing a Star Wars t-shirt in the background. Now we cut back to Reed, and he's freezing out in space, out in the negative zone. He finds a couple pieces of flint on the asteroid he's floating on, is able to create a fire. This creature from this negative zone creature flies by like it's like a bat. He catches it, kills it, roasts it, eats it. Pretty hardcore. Pretty hardcore. Okay, now this is something that's cool. So this is the first comic from February 1977 that I'm reading in my collection. So whenever I do that, whenever I read the Fantastic Four, I'm not technically reading them in publishing date order, I don't think. I'm kind of going in the order that my comics fell in. Like I'll have certain older issues beginning my runs, and Fantastic Four just happened to be one of the oldest that I had. So I always read that first whenever for the month that I'm reading. And so when I do that, I go through like the bullpen bulletins, some of the ads and stuff like that. And this month is the first month that What If is published. What If #1 came out, was published with the cover date of February 1977. So actually, what is it, like 3 months difference? So this actually would have come out in November of 76, but the cover says February of 1977. Well, it still says copyright 76 there. But this is, what does it say in the indicia? Copyright 1976. Right down here. Volume 1, number 179, February 1977 issue. So yeah, like this would have come out in 1976, 3 months prior to that. This came out in November of 76, but it says February of 77. So anyway, long story to get to the point of this is when What If premiered. So I have nearly an entire run of What If. So I have #1, so I'll be reading that here soon as I go through and read my Marvel Comics in order. And not only is there a half-page in-house ad for it, here in the letters page, they find a way to answer one of the readers' letters by doing a whole big blurb on What If. This is basically a whole like advertisement for, the new comic What If, to answer this reader's question about the drawing of the Submariner in recent issues. So What If is really big on people's minds. As when we get to bullpen bulletins, there's more. But Ben or the Thing and Tigra, they go out to a fancy steakhouse in Manhattan, and while they're in there, this what is he called? Metalloid. He comes by carrying a bank vault, and Tigra and the Thing have to fight him. And what this guy does is he gets super hot, I guess, and that's how he melded his way to the bank vault. And he's gonna burn up the Thing. Luckily, Tigra lays him out with a kick to the head, and the Thing knocks him out with a punch. The army's coming. The fight has taken everybody out next to the Hudson Bay, where the bad guy gets tossed in the drink out onto a garbage barge, actually. And then he gets punched by the Thing so hard that he snaps the garbage barge in half. That's a heck of a punch. Okay, so here there's a whole big write-up on What If issue 1 coming out in bullpen bulletins. And Stan Lee, he wrote a whole Stan soapbox on how when Marvel Comics started, or it must have been, I don't know if it was when Marvel Comics started, but Stan Lee and the bullpen at the time, their mandate was to make comic books readable for not just little kids, but for older kids and even young adults, and he goes through in here and how that's succeeded in the last 10 years, the last dozen years since Fantastic Four #1 came out or whatever. He talks about the increase of readership amongst 15 to 25-year-olds, and every city where a Comic-Con happens, it like pulls the biggest numbers of any kind of get together in the city. So he's kind of gloating here, but well deserved. I mean, that's a heck of a feat he pulled off. Here we go. This is the part where I was like, holy cow, I can't believe this is in a comic in 1977. But so Sue, Imposter Reed's in their bed asleep. Sue's walking out, and I'm like, that's a sheer like nightgown. You can see her underwear through it. And basically, I think the implication is that Sue just slept with Imposter Reed. It doesn't say it, but I think the sheer nightgown with the underwear underneath kind of implies it. I could be wrong, but you know, that's one of the things that would probably slip by a young reader, a kid, but an older reader would probably kind of pick up on, I don't know, like why have her in a see-through nightgown leaving the bedroom, you know, unless you're kind of trying to imply that. But I could be wrong. Tell me what you think. Comment down below. But then we cut back to the negative zone, and Reed is under attack by Annihilus. So next issue, that's our cliffhanger. Next issue, we'll have a big clash in the negative zone. See if Reed Richards can survive and get himself back to the Baxter Building. So that's what Fantastic Four 179. What do you think? Has anybody else read it? Does anybody have any insights on it? Comment that stuff down below, please. And if you would like to help me out, give me a like and share the video. That would really help me out a lot. If you like this kind of thing, this is a series I'm doing on here, reading my Marvel comics in order. I'm just going through my collection and reading them in publishing date order and doing a video. And if you like that, please subscribe. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.